Hi, I'm Bruce Eckel,
And I'm James Ward.
and this is First Steps in Flex, and we're going to look at formatters. So the idea of formatters is that we want to have consistent ways of formatting things, but also it seems like if you're dealing with different locales, you want to automatically be able to switch to the appropriate formatting for that locale.
That's right. That's right. Yep. So Flex, built in the framework, has a number of out-of-the-box formatters for doing exactly that. So there's things to format dates and currencies and zip codes and the base formatter classes that you can then override to really implement any formatter, any type of data formatter. So one of the places I've used this before is to format the display of megabytes, bytes, kilobytes, those sorts of things. So I just extended the base classes and wrote my own formatter. So let's go create a simple formatter project. So call this one format formatters. So what we're going to do in our application, let's first remove the layout absolute, and let's put in a data entry control called date chooser. So date chooser is just a way to select a date. So we'll give this an ID, we'll call it date. And then first we're just going to display in a label the selected date. So what we're going to say is text equals, and then we're just going to display date dot selected date. And let's
Now that's an interesting use of data binding there, because date.selectedDate is what? That's, oh, I see. It's just reaching into the date chooser. Okay, that makes sense.
And I accidentally deleted a double quote, so let's put that back in. There we go. Yep, so we're just binding to the date.selectedDate, and it's going to do a toString on that to get that into the label's text property and display it.
Okay.
So let's run this one and see what happens. So here we have our date chooser, and currently the selected date is none. So let's select a date, and now we see down here the basic toString on that date. So date is a primitive type in Flash Player, and so its toString method is just that basic.
Seems serviceable, but the zeros on the time and everything is not really useful.
Yeah. So let's now format this. So in order to format it, what we're going to do is add into here a date formatter. So let's add our date formatter, and let's specify some properties. We'll first give it an ID, and then we need to specify the format string. So date formatter takes a string that it's then going to use as the way of outputting that date. So I'm going to use MMMM, which should give me, I think, the full month. There's documentation in the date formatter, ActionScript documentation about how to do this, and then the day of the month, and then the for number year. So I'm hoping that this will say December, full, spell out December, and then we'll say today's date in the typical 31-day format or whatever. So what is today's date? December 3rd. So it should say December 3rd, 2009.
Okay.
And then the last thing we need to do is we need to run the formatter. So to do that, what we say is F. So we're going to call our formatter dot format, and then we pass it the date object that we want to format. So that's just that date dot selected date. Save it, and let's go reload. And now when we select a date, let's select the 3rd, we get December 3rd, 2009. And any locale that Flex supports out of the box, it would put these dates into the right language. So in Spanish, diciembre, or whatever locale you're in. So
now it would know that, or
it would know that if you set the locale in the application to the Mexico or Spanish locale.
But the formatting itself, we would have to somehow look that up in the resource bundle.
It will do that automatically with some of these. So the date formatter will handle that automatically because it's pulling that word December out of the resource bundle. But if we wanted to do, let's say in a different country they display the date in a different order. So for instance, if we were doing short style where outside the US they do day/month/year, whereas here we do month/day/year. So if we wanted to display that based on the locale, we could look up that format string in a resource bundle.
And then just shove it into here.
And just shove it into here, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. So if we wanted to do that for the US, what we would do is mm/d. Actually, let's do two D's. That would, and then 4 years. So I believe that should give us the typical US display there, 12/03/2009. So you can find out more about the date formatter and how the format string and all those things work in the ActionScript documentation. So there's a number of other formatters that you can use in Flex, or as we mentioned, you can build your own. So that's formatters.